it's gotta be some kind of a friendship here, right? So my point is,
So somebody was streaming a room I was in, it was a room, and what do you call it, on X,
they should be spearheading. They should have went back to that,
important news topic. They will ad hominem filibuster and just go straight into Cheerios.
Every law enforcement agency within public, we have a crowdsourced investigation system going on here, where these guys who were so-called Nolan's best friends are sitting at home, avoiding people, or doing interviews with random, unrelated reporters who don't have the best interests of the family at heart. I'm just curious.
Epstein is not a convicted criminal.
But I'm just curious. So do you think that like Ben Crump or any of these race hustlers that took this case have the best interests of the family? Now we can talk about Ben Crump. We can talk about Jesse Jackson. What they would do to the people that they would grip off of, the black people that would die. They would literally fight with the fucking families to tell them, no, shut your fucking mouth. We are doing the speaking. You're not allowed to say fucking shit. But
Hardworking guys that want to be speaking this man.
They had to elaborate it. And it had to be a tearjerker for the public. But I find it be interesting that you're asking, why are the kids not saying that much right now? Well, they're literally, by black people in the United States being accused of fucking somehow murdering them despite there's zero proof for the murder. Like, what the fuck would you do? Like, if somebody's accusing you of murdering a boy because of his skin color, and then, you have all of this, and then there's a reason why we're talking about it, and other Americans are talking about it, because it went viral. And yes, these are like 18, 19 years old. They're gonna go.
Get on a boat and make sure the people get on the boat don't come
See,
home.
stop.
No,
See, now, shut your fucking mouth. Now, they're
She acts like she's a captain.
But they obviously are scared. And of course, this is kind of coming. Okay, shut the fuck up. How do we work for the audience? My apologies. No, I mean, obviously, it's a tragedy. There's literally zero, and I mean zero. If when any of these kids were known to be like overt racist, to have done bad shit, I'm sure that would have kind of come out already. There's none of that. There is literally nothing that looks bad about the boys that he was with. However, a black boy went to an island with a bunch of white boys. He died. That's the narrative that black people want to stand with and say basically, oh yeah, it was somehow there's malicious intent behind how this happened, despite zero fucking proof. And like, I don't even know why you guys do this. You guys are literally you guys literally want a black death to be caused by white murderers.
No, I don't.
Fucking argument.
No, I don't. I'm speaking for myself. Brother Debbie, nothing that I just said, nothing in my question had anything to do with murder or anything. I said, all right, so let's listen each other in the eye, Debbie. If you and I had hung out together and I show up dead, proven dead, they already had my funeral, but you call me your best friend, you're going to sit around and wait for somebody else to get to the bottom of this? I wouldn't do it. If you died, I would not rest until I found out what happened to Peppy. If we're best friends, you see,
like, this is a case that has the public attention of the whole
but I'm saying, don't bring posted it on his Instagram page, or reposted it, should I say. And I say he's dumb for doing that because in a court of law, if they select a group of jurors, 12 jurors, and even one of them has seen those posts, they're subject to be removed because of their bias because of that. And if they lied and it comes back saying, hey, they come back and say, hey, yeah, I did really see the pictures and stuff. Guess what? If those 3 white boys are guilty of something, they could turn around and say, hey, we didn't get a fair trial. This juror member came out saying that they were biased because they did see the video. Guess what? Their case gets thrown out. They can never be charged with murder ever again. It'd be double jeopardy because that juror screwed the whole case up because Mr. Crump put this stuff up on his Instagram page and the world saw it. You're saying the system is one-sided in favor? No, I'm saying like nobody can do that. No attorney, whether they're white, black, Hispanic, whatever, should do anything that hurts their case, period. Because if they hurt their case, do something like, and I get what he was trying to do. Don't get me wrong. He was trying to put evidence that he had. But the fact that he put this out here, damage his case, if he has a legit case, if these boys if they are guilty, that would be a mistrial, correct, buddy? It would be a mistrial because of that juror or jurors, if there's more than one, knew about this information and became biased because of the information that they saw. So I don't even understand why Crumby would even dare even attempt to put that out there. And if he's a good attorney, he would have known that's a possibility. Okay, let's leave the people who made mistakes. Let's leave them out of it for a minute. Let's deal with the local community, Christina and the government and the place where she pays taxes at. Like, does anybody have to come in from the outside and help?
That's actually a wonderful question. This is what I was going to answer.
That's a great question.
You asked, why did the white kids, didn't they do this crowdfunding? First of all, I don't know if they did put money up.
No, I didn't say crowdfund. I said crowdsource, meaning the investigation and the reporting.
Sure.
The amateur reporting.
I get it, but when it comes to...
See, when it comes to Democrats, it's always about the money.
But when it comes to... Okay, so for example, if you were to come into... I'll just speak where I live. I live in Maricopa County. If somebody was to die, and you found the person that was dead, they're going to go to a medical examiner's office. They are going to, do an autopsy. They are going to see whether or not they see signs of a homicide. And then, of course, if they do see that, there is going to be, they're going to task whichever agency, depending on the location, whose jurisdiction it was in, to investigate it. And then they obviously are going to investigate it. So you're asking, it's almost like you're asking, why can't these white kids do this extrajudicial thing where they can step outside of the bounds of law when clearly the corpse was taken into custody by the appropriate authorities that were literally, it was within their jurisdiction, and there was an autopsy done. That's all they can do. The white kids cannot change that. And so it doesn't matter how much money, how much truth-seeking these white kids want to do. The body that was found in that jurisdiction is going to go to the medical examiner's office and be autopsied in that jurisdiction. The law, that is the law. There's nobody who can change that. Doesn't matter how much money is thrown at it. And so that is basically what you saw happen. Now they had a second medical examiner's report, which I guess the which is bullshit. And quite frankly, this is something that's gained national attention. So you have people that are raising funds and basically to try to demoralize white people, make white people look bad and violent, despite there being zero proof. You guys did this with fucking, who is that asshole that was just sent to prison for like 30 years?
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony. Like, right out the gate, I listened to all of you motherfuckers say how, like, first you guys made these weird claims, like, oh, you got jumped by them, the week before, or you got jumped, during that, or right before that stabbing, all of this shit. Turns out all of it's bogus bullshit. And that's what you have.
I heard
You
he
guys,
got
you
beat
guys
by
still,
John Kitover.
despite one instance of evidence that shows that these white boys had anything to do with this boy's death, you guys are still gonna bitch and scream and you feel personally offended by the fact that we will basically express the very warranted doubt, which is based on a complete, utter lack of fucking evidence.
I heard he was working with John Kitover before he went rogue.
Really quick point. Can the blacks just not come forward and say, like, okay, we as a community, our conduct is perhaps a bit antisocial for the other societies, and maybe like what the black guy did in this video is incorrect, and too many blacks are behaving like this, right? And maybe they just need to start, instead of always saying, oh, like, me victim, I'm victim. Stop saying victim all the time.
No, bitch, don't do that. Don't call anybody a victim.
But no, don't disrespect him. He said his part. Disrespecting does no justice to what you're saying. Disrespecting somebody's not having an argument. You have to present some facts by calling him.
You don't speak for me.
I know I don't speak for you. You don't speak for me either. But when you can address somebody in a debate, talking shit is not winning.
I'm curious to hear everybody's theories about what happened to Nono Wells. My theory, this is just my opinion. My theory is I think the guys were partying, having a good time. I think Nono did go talk to this girl. He went back with them. I think they were heavily drinking. I think Nono got alcohol poisoning, and that's what you could hear in the background of the audio call was, oh shit, he passed out drunk. They're trying to wake him up, and they're freaking out. They don't know what to do. I think as dumb teenagers, young adults, I think they threw the body over, panicked, they threw the body over, or they took off, went to go party again elsewhere, and they're trying to cover up an accident, and they did it completely wrong. Instead of coming forward saying, oh yeah, he got alcohol poisoning, we were all drinking, they blew this up way worse than what it should have been. Because that's what that sounds like to me, is that they were partying, having fun. These are young kids, and me as I'm an adult now, but I remember when I was 18 years old, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the guys too here, when they were 18, they can say they went out partying, drinking with their friends, and they've gotten wasted numerous times with their friends, and some of them, they can have one friend that took it a little overboard and was just a really, shit face, and it's not just Nolan and his friends, group of friends that did it. There's numerous groups of people who've gone out drinking underage, at friends' house, partying, having a good time, and then shit happens, something happens, and because they're kids, or I say kids, but they're young adults, they're 18, they don't think straight. is a very interesting case. That is my theory. What I think would happen. Does anybody else have any theories? I would love to hear y'all's theory.
I literally think I don't think he was thrown overboard.
Before I hop right there, I just want to say something. I just want people to look to another family who experienced a similar loss, and they didn't do this race baiting thing that this current set of parents are doing. There was a killing of DJ Henry. It did make national news, but the parents didn't go out there and fan the flames of racial hatred. And to me, I think we can learn something from their example. They didn't jump the gun. DJ Henry was killed by police officers. I think after a club let out, it was very controversial at the time. It happened in Massachusetts, I believe. And a black kid killed by officers. They shot him right through the windshield. I don't think he hurt. I can't remember all the details. But anyways, the parents had every opportunity to make it a racial thing, and they didn't. They didn't. And that family to me stands as an example of how to deal with all kinds of pressure in the midst of such trauma because you lose your son suddenly. So as you were just speaking, previous speaker, I just wanted to point that out. DJ Henry's parents, they did it the right way.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know about the men. I didn't know about that case. That's interesting to know.
We also got to blame social media for making a racial issue as well. Not just the parents. We got to blame media as well.
Absolutely. Social media. It's been a pain in the ass for society because things get blown out of proportion or things get misinterpreted, and especially cases like this. And it's not the first time this has happened. With the Carmelo Anthony case, people were jumping the gun saying, Carmelo's innocent, he's the victim, he was doing self-defense. I'm like, okay, but how does stabbing someone in the chest, how is that an equal reaction to somebody pushing you? I'm not gonna stab someone just because they push me. That's especially after they told me numerous times to leave. Why would you stay when you had numerous people telling you numerous times to leave? I'm just saying, I'm bringing up a point here. As if people need to just stop blowing things up, making it way worse than what it actually is, and let's focus on the facts. Let's get the facts. Let's get the justice. If it is a murder, whatever, let's do this the right way and not, use social media to corrupt the case or screw the case over for the innocent party.
And not only that, there are shows about plenty of black people that don't get broadcasted. And a lot of people don't know about their stories. There's a podcast called Black Girl Gone Missing. So there's a lot of other cases out there. So why this one got blown up, I don't know. But a lot of that has to do with social media.
It got blown up because, first of all, you have people like Ben Crump. Their sole fucking job is to riff off of, something that happens that's racial. When it comes to that whole thing that happened, this is something, like, one of the most milquetoast things they've, invested their time in. There is zero goddamn evidence. There's still zero evidence that anything malicious happened. Yes. These people are so goddamn motivated by making it look like there was something racial. Like they're fighting some kind of injustice. Hey, look, pay me, listen to me, look at me. I'm your fucking Lord and Savior. I will uncover the debauchery the white race is doing to black people. One of you motherfuckers drowned island. Yeah, it's white people's fault. You can't trust these dirty fucking crackers. They're conniving pieces of shit. But here, you listen to me, the guy that will tell you the truth, that can overlook, or not overlook, but basically see through the cracker and this evil And it's just like it's fucking tiresome and it's boring. Like actually finding like real instances of fucking injustice. I mean, if racism is so goddamn common as Ben Trump would like me to believe, I'm sure he can find overt racism and what people are doing out of their belief system. But they can't do that. They have to fucking chase like fucking stories like this, which is, I'm not gonna say it's common, but it's relative. It happens, all the fucking time. People, young men go out on boats, they inner tube, they do all of this stuff. They fucking drown. They're found dead. That's a regular occurrence here in Arizona, just in fucking rivers and lakes.
Well, hell, I mean, it happens all the time over here too. Where I'm from. Just recently, they just fished out 2 people out the river.
Yeah.
Okay, so why?
Okay.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, black girl.
I hear what you're saying, Pepe. However, you have to look at history. Black people got blamed for crimes they didn't even commit. Got blamed for things that they didn't even commit. Okay, and got lynched. So there's a history there. So that's probably a lot of the reasons why black people protest and do all this and that out in the streets because of our
So are
history.
you saying that you guys are able to do that?
You can't erase that to fix the problem. You can't erase that. So there is a history there. Bottom line.
Right, you're absolutely right. There is a history here, but you can, and in turn, a group of people cannot use something that happened as motivation to be violent protesters and creating riots. In turn, that makes you just as bad as family or your family, we would be out. We would demand witnesses. We would demand answers before we called Trump or anybody in Sharpton or anybody. It's so easy. If you look at the video, it's impossible that somebody could slip, could be standing and drinking, and then drown and me not know, or get murdered and me not know it. Not accusing anybody. I'm just saying, what are we dealing with here, people? Forget about race. Forget about law enforcement stupidity. Forget about drinking. We're close. We set out to have on top of each other type of party on the 4th of July. Now, how am I getting killed and you don't see anything? Or how am I going to drown and you don't at least attempt to save me?
Sure, I could say this. So if you look at Arizona, like on Salt River, people tube on it every year. Now, when you go
Talking
there,
about more people together within
that's what
eyeshot,
that's
within
what I'm talking
reach.
about. On the river, there's never a time on the river where you do not see dozens of people within your eyesight. Yet for whatever reason, people during that time.
And it's easily reported because eyewitnesses.
They often discover the body, or they can't find somebody.
You're talking about a fast-moving river compared to a slow-moving beach.
So hold on. Let's say I need to go take a shit. Or take this. You know, in the river.
Then you would tell my parents
While
that.
their bodies underwater.
You would tell my parents that. Or I would tell your parents that. You went to take a crap.
No, what I'm saying is that like people have this disgusting habit of like literally putting water in their chair. And everybody pees in the river.
Gross in this house, man. Here's
And
one
you don't
more
want to
for you
be
before I
saying
go.
shitting and there's no toilet paper. Like the best food is literally like
Facilities on the boat. There's facilities on the boat, man. All of those boats
not
out
if the
there.
boat left, not if the boat left them behind.
All right, here you go, Pepe. One more question for you. Did you happen to see the video of when they say it's Nolan? They put a red circle around him, and they said that he was leaning over. Well, it looks like he's leaning over, so we see his back. Did you see that video by any chance? No? Anybody? Did anybody see that video?
What video was it? I'm sorry, you cut off on my side.
Okay, so it was a footage of a boat, and they say that it was Nolan's back to the whoever was taking the video.
Oh, yes, I saw that video.
Right. So I thought that it was all kids on that boat, but I see an older figure.
Right, so you can't, like, when I saw it, I couldn't make heads or tails if that was Nolan. The video was not clear enough, and it's not a distinctive enough image to 100% say that was Nolan.
I get that, but that's not my point. I'm saying on that same boat, in the center of the boat, facing the camera, the black figure was not facing the camera. We can only see the back, so we don't know if that was Nolan or not. But there was an older white figure on that boat. Did anybody see that? I'm not curious. It seems like
Now that you say that, I do remember that.
yeah, and this is all teenagers out there, right? Partying. So what is this old dude doing out there on the boat? The same boat that Nolan is on. I'm wondering if that's only because I've heard of a grandpa in the picture who owned the boat, who had the CTO subscription. son take the boat out with his friends on 4th of July to have a good time. But yet, here it looks like this older figure on the boat. Then, at the end of the CTO call, the dispatcher calls her chief, who I guess is the one who goes out and rescues people. The chief said that he had already talked to the grandfather, and the grandfather said, "Don't worry about it. There's no trouble. Don't call." All right, thanks for the mic.
Yeah, and I have another theory to what might have happened to Nolan. This sounds more logical to me than the first one I said. So the thing that I just came up with, just thinking about what happened. What if he was on the boat with his friends? They were heading back, but guys are guys. Kids are kids. Teenagers are stupid. They do stupid stuff because they were drinking. What if whoever was driving the boat, stepped on the gas or made the boat go faster, and because of that initial jerk in the beginning when the boat takes off, what if Nolan fell off, like he hit his head or like he hit the engine and then rolled off, and nobody even knew he fell off until they realized, oh shit, where's Nolan? And then they did a turnaround. By the time they turned around to Nolan, Nolan was already dead. He drowned.
But if he was hit by the boat's man,
Let's not
that would
accuse
be
anybody.
very obvious in the autopsy.
No, I'm saying that he hit
I
the
want
top of it,
to
not the
ask
blades.
a question. So I understand, and I don't believe that the people saying this, they just want to, quote unquote, get to the truth. They don't necessarily think it had to do with race. But they are so vested in this case because, quite frankly, they want it to do with race. I mean, really.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, when I first heard about this case, the first thing I heard was, oh, it's three white boys and one black guy at the boat. Come on now. There's got to be some kind of racist thing going on. I was like, well, how do you know it's racist? Why are you assuming just because there's three white boys and one black boy on the boat, you're assuming that it's a racist thing? That in itself is racist, assuming the worst of people. You don't even know. You weren't even there. Nobody knows what happened but those people that were there. And sooner or later, somebody's going to crack because of guilt. Because guilt's a SOB. Eventually, eventually it's going to come out. And if it was an accident, okay, it was an accident, these kids should not have postponed telling the truth as long as they had been. They should have just came out from the get-go saying, hey, something happened to Nolan, it was an accident, we didn't mean for him to die, or, we didn't want him to die, so it just happened, we're sorry, and, do their due diligence just like a normal human being instead of, like, postponing the truth and dragging this out like it is and putting other people's lives in danger because that poor little girl, her family have been getting death threats, and some of the rest of the boys have been getting death threats, and it's sad that people who don't even know threats to people. It's like, how sick can you be to be sending death threats to strangers that you don't even know, and you don't even know what the truth is?
Are you done? I wanted to give my
I'm
take
done.
on this. Thank you. And my phone is not showing up. I don't know why.
It is.
Hey, volunteer.
I see it.
Hi, Miss Fifi.
Hey.
Hi, Miss Fifi.
Hey.
We love you. Hey, yo, Teresa. All the girls are here.
Hey.
It's unfortunate, and I think it's terrible because I hang out with a lot of Caucasian people this many times, and it's never anything racial. There are fights, there are things that happen, especially in California. It's not racial. And I just think this is gross like at this point. And unfortunate impacts that may have been all the good drugs.
Yes.
if you bring cocaine and somebody uses cocaine and then they have a heart attack and die, even if it's an accident, yes.
He didn't have a heart attack. He didn't have a heart
You got
attack.
the cocaine for him.
Okay,
Why you ask? Yo, I'm saying there wasn't
Y'all acting
cocaine.
like black men don't be doing drugs and alcohol. Y'all better stop this shit.
Nobody
Stop that.
Because Norm said that they probably asked me how I did.
No, I'm not talking about you, ma'am. If it don't apply to you, then it don't apply. I'm talking who want to sit there and act like these black boys not out here indulging in this goddamn type of activity. Why
You don't
niggas
like
coming up
race,
with white
though.
boys?
We were talking about race, we was trying to stay away.
Man, I'm not trying to hear none of that shit.
We were trying to stay away from race because they always blaming us, saying, "Oh, they talking about race."
But I'm not looking at it as a race thing, ma'am. I'm saying the type of behavior and what they're indulging in, which is drugs. So where the fuck is the lack of
There's no evidence of the drugs.
for these children to have access to drugs?
Kids do get drugs, yes, it's true, in high school.
Just like they don't mind going to go find some random ass adults to pay to get them some alcohol.
They have needs and with that anytime they want.
That area is known to be pretty currency, full of like undertows, full of currents, like
Yeah.
safe space, not a safe place to be swimming, right?
The coroner says that people drown there every year.
Yeah, I mean it's like it's got names for it, but it's like dangerous. Well, I don't go into like
They were
nefarious
mad
shit.
that it's not getting all the white girls now.
Well, it's made up stories. You're making up stories.
See, I can tell you as a person who lived, like I said, like I lived on the coast, I lived on a small fishing town, and I can tell you straight out that the undertows of the rip currents are strong and fast. You could just be barely walking in water, like waist deep water, if that, and these things will pull you under, and they'd be sending your ass out deep into the ocean. And by the time you know the person is gone, by the time you realize the person's gone, their body could be miles down. Their bodies could be miles down the coastline by the time the body pops up.
That's a fact, but there are too many eyes not to say that happened. No, listen, we just had, so I live on the coast, the Texas coast, right next to South Padre. We just had yes ma'am. We just had a 41-year-old drown in South Padre. It happens every year, like Mr.
And you're telling us about it, see? How easy that was?
They get caught in the rip currents. It happens when you're in the ocean, especially in between islands. It is very dangerous if you get off the sandbar. We just had 5 people drown in Ohio River trying to save each other. Rip currents can be very dangerous. It can happen. And
So all these people who went to that island that day are scared to say that?
What's that again?
Exactly. Why not? You know what? I just don't.
You ever heard of an experiment called this scientific, this attention test? It's where if you tell a group of people, or you see a group of people, they're all focusing on one thing, but there's another thing that's happening on one side, but they don't even pay attention to that because that's not what they're focused on.
So you're trying to tell me they all had television on this way? That's what they did.
Right, they're all drinking and partying. Nobody's going to pay attention to. There's always going to be a blind spot in a group.
Y'all are insane. Hold on. Let me just say something, okay? Hold on. It's cold out here and I'm trying to jump up into the shower. So listen, okay? Y'all have your priorities fucked up. Do y'all know the Tupac case? The Tupac murder case is starting next week. In 2 days.
Really?
In 2 days. And you guys are sitting here like a bunch of monkeys on a Saturday night worried about this dumb fucking kid that got drunk and drowned. Like, are you kidding me? The trial of the century is about to happen, and you guys are worried about some and some dumb stupid shit about some dumb black kid that drowned in a boat. Nobody cares about that shit. It took 3 fucking decades for them to set a trial. Be quiet. The trial's on the 10th. The trial starts on the 10th. You don't have the answers. Who's being charged?
Yeah, see. Thank you.
There's about 4,500 drownings per year in the U.S.
Oh, God.
All of that in the last month is black people trying to find
Everyone's talking about race.
for this kid's drowning. It was an accident. That's all there is. Now we've got race. We were not talking about race. We got you know, it's embarrassing. No, it's embarrassing. You're embarrassing. Trying to cope. Okay, it's a tragic accident. It's sad. Well, that's sad. What's going on here? Why did they bring it on? A bunch of Trump pansy being around trying to make it racial. You know why they were making it racial?
Wait, is that a new one? A big Trump pansy?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, they're talking about race. If anything, these people are talking about
They made it about race.
Yeah,
You guys are
trying to be racial about this shit.
Don't be surprised if you're going to get some pushback for your dumb shit. That's all there is to it. And white people are looking at it and say, black people are really doing some dumb shit now over this.
Well, in all honesty, sir, it's not even just black people are doing dumb shit. You men are just doing dumb shit. You males are just doing dumb shit. Y'all are just dumb fucking people. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the white boys out here doing dumbass decisions. It's these black boys out here doing dumbass decisions. It's just a pattern of you dumb XY ass niggas. What are we talking about? You stupid ass fucking coon. How about you go find that other chromosome, bitch? Find that other chromosome. How about that? How about look, you tried to make it about race and monkeys and all this. You sound like albino monkeys to me. Sound like albino monkeys to me. Hooping and poking around. You know what I'm saying? You know what they say about people who like to coke and drink. Drink coke and drink. I mean, you know, that's why y'all motherfuckers drink so much damn coke. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, you nigglets, you XYs need to make better decisions. You fucking punks.
Yeah, so real quick, not what I actually came in here to say, and Beer, the Houthis just hit the Saudi Aramco plant. It's massively on fire apparently. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but we may be back in it. Apparently they hit it with 2 ballistic missiles, and it's on fire. So I'm looking at predictions, and they're going to be north probably of $80 if you want to get in. That's really what I'm coming and saying.
Say that again, Trent. What happened?
The Houthis hit the Saudi Aramco
Hey, Wallace.
plant.
Is that Wallace Sperry?
It's on fire. It's the gas plant. So looking at oil climbing.
Good to see you, buddy.
Likely
Hope
on
things are going
December.
good for you.
Who does cocaine in the car in the auto industry? What do you mean?
Hello?
Good question.
Good question.
Those things happen in all industries.
Wallace, you want to come up and co-mod with me, buddy? I think it's time we take it all over, buddy. Stop being such a pussy.
There's prevalence in any industry that has
Get up
high
here,
usage of
Wallace.
hours.
I'm gonna kick you from my Trump main room. You go back to the main room. Come on, Wallace, get up here. No? Alright, Wallace.
In the auto industry, there has been pretty significant cocaine since it's been a part of our industry.
Rock star of industry.
Now we switched to rock stars and Red Bulls, which is actually maybe worse for you in some ways. But
They were James said it means cocaine. It's one hell of a drug, man.
it is one hell of a drug. But no, I thought the bigger story is what's happened in Saudi Arabia.
Did you say they hit Aramco?
They hit Saudi Aramco.
That's the biggest oil company.
It is the biggest oil be good. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Thank you, Trey. God bless you, Trey. Be safe, man.
It's pushing it's pushing people away from Iran, where we have to have pipelines away from them, just completely break it off from any contact with Iran so we can keep on their shenanigans. Who's going to hold out longer, bro? Our currency has collapsed. I mean, I can take $1 into Iran, be a millionaire. They're fucking, their water, they don't have much, their agricultural shot. What do they have? So yeah, it's a little bit, it's small convenience for us. Our fuel prices are up a little bit. Not anything like Joe Biden or Obama did in their era as well. So it's going to be a small pain for a short gain, but I think ultimately we're going to be able to hold out longer here. And at the same time, we're going to be making pipelines and making deals and getting away from Iran completely. It's going to fuck them in the ass. It's our gain. For the pain, it's our gain. Yeah. No, but what is the gain? Well, man, the IRGC is going to be irrelevant, right? I just think that, they're probably going to cozy up more to the Axis powers, which I would consider that be, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. That's kind of been inevitable anyway, right? Clear lines are going to be cut, drawn, and I don't know. I just think that as far as them being able to, hold hostage the oil flow of the world, that's soon going to be over. Inevitably, it's going to be over, right? And they're not diversified, man. That's their main currency system is oil and gas. So we fucking cut that off or make it painful for them. And I think that we're going to be okay.
I'd like to point out that mountain. I like your picture there, dude. That's hilarious. I give you props on that mountain. Such a great movie.
I just looked it up. This minimal damage done to the plant. They were able to contain the fires, and it's not affecting their output at all. So,
Oh, that's good to hear, man.
yeah. Well, that's according to Google. So, take it there.
How do you guys feel about my PTR?
Well, where's Pond at?
Just PTR.
It's a refresh profile photo.
Oh, look at that again.
Look at you, Beaver. You're gonna learn. You're such a feckless little cunt, Beaver. You're gonna learn.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah.
Where is it in the Quran is it in the Quran where Muhammad is sucking another guy's dick?
Which one?
In the Quran?
That is so disrespectful.
Why? It's part of the text.
Is it really from the text or you'll just
Well,
put it?
now it's flattery. Well, Rich was talking about it. I mean, he sleeps with Aisha. She's not. And then she's turning him on, whatever it is. He was talking about it the other day. I just wanted to confirm it. Did he leave? Oh, well.
Can a white man speak?
He's over.
Go ahead, white man. From the deep south, this be the white man. The deep south right now, let me tell you what. I got a gripe. Will not let Royce White in. These prejudiced WNBA owners need to let Royce White be in the league. right too. Why wouldn't men be able to play in the WNBA?
Because
What is a woman? Define to me what a woman is then.
ask Ann.
Oh, that's a good response, actually.
Well, that's the genius of the whole thing with Royce White and all them, because they're forcing the WNBA to say it's for women only. And once they say it's for women only, now they kind of shot themselves in the foot.
They're gonna say something like in their chart, it's gonna be for well-intentioned women, or women playing under good faith, or some bullshit like that.
You know, it's sad that the world has where we have to define what a woman is instead of having common sense and knowing what a women in sports
You guys are the only
very
ones
sad.
that's defining women. It's literally only you guys on Clubhouse. No one still talks about this.
Yeah, I hear it all the time on the news.
Jarl, Google Clay Travis. He put up $10 million. So a lot of people care about it.
Yeah, that's always the last defense. Oh, nobody's talking about this. You guys are worried about nothing. Oh, no.
No one is talking about this. It's really just you guys.
It is. Oh, that's funny because there's two basketball players now who are submitting themselves for the WNBA draft.
This is
And so, according to the WNBA Players Union, it's reserved only for women. And now you have everyone.
You're not even addressing the point, Alan.
Alan, hold on, Joe. Alan, listen. The commissioner of the WNBA is commencing a special meeting for them to determine what defines a woman. Carl, you have no idea what you're talking about. The commissioner of the WNBA feels like this is a special moment that needs to define what an actual woman is.
And nobody cares except you guys.
So then why are they meeting about it?
Yeah, he's playing the game of I'm gonna ignore what you say.
Really, I don't care. So, like normal people who don't care.
Are you
99% of people who are not eternally online, I don't care.
Are you a narcissist that the world only revolves around you, and if you don't perceive it as something to be addressed, then the rest of the world doesn't either?
You're just obsessed, and I think it's worth pointing out that you live your life.
Yeah, I'm obsessed
whichever story makes a black woman or a black person or whatever minority look bad, so that you can talk about it on Clubhouse. That's all you. Your life.
I'm obsessed with men not going and physically hurting girls or taking away, the effort that a girl like a gymnast or a swimmer or a basketball player who practices her whole life from the age of 5 to the age of 18 and then have that opportunity taken away by some dumb fucking bitch of a man who decides, oh, I'm going to pretend to be a woman so I can beat everybody up and get my jollies by injuring women. Yeah, I'm obsessed with dumb fucks like that. You're absolutely right. And people like me and everybody else is going to make sure that these tranny, violent, dumb fuck men who think that putting on makeup and putting on a dress makes them a woman, we're going to make sure they crawl back under the rock they came from and go back to how so that we don't have to see their ugly 250-pound bodies dressed up in heels and skirts and upset the rest of the world. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, on that note, too, Joe, what you were saying, when you were saying when they don't have an argument to the issue, the issue doesn't make sense. This was never a problem. It's fine.
responding. Oh, John, we're responding to something. We didn't bring this fucking discussion up. We just started saying, hey, when is a woman? We're not sure what that is. No, motherfuckers are saying, hey, a guy with a dick and balls can say that he's a woman, and then we can start talking about pregnant people. Instead of understanding that women are only type of fucking people that get pregnant. They brought this to our fucking attention. Not us. We didn't provoke this shit. We're responding. So don't put this on us. Go to that community and ask that community why the fuck they're bringing it to our table. Alright? If they didn't want us to talk about it, they would never brought the shit up. We're responding to this dumb shit. And you're trying to defend it by saying, hey, you guys don't want to talk about this. No, motherfucker, it exists now. And they're trying to spill that bullshit into our world.
I'm not the guy. I don't give a shit. Here's the solution. Reopen insane asylums and throw all those crazy people and their supporters in there and give them the mental help they need. Period. That's how you solve the issue.
Yeah, don't bring this shit to us and act like we should respond to it. Like you brought this to us. Because logically, if we didn't talk about it, the fucking WNBA wouldn't exist at all. Period. It wouldn't. It would just be a bunch of guys who did not make the NBA just playing in basically what is a D League. It would be the NBA and basically the fucking D League. Because that's what the WNBA would turn into. The D League. For those who don't know, the D League is development only for guys who don't make it to the NBA or supposedly still trying to make it to the NBA. But right now, you're saying, or what they're saying is that women and men are virtually fucking same, and you just call yourself arbitrarily anytime you want to and shoot into those spaces interchangeably. That's fucking dumb. It's the same logic why we don't let adults play with children. There's genetic differences of why we don't let it happen. And then you pretending like we shouldn't talk about it, knowing that there's going to be a fair advantage for one group over the other. This is fucking dumb, y'all.
You can't win, Jarl. Why do you keep trying?
Some of you will wake up and realize that you are obsessed and you just want to debate whatever fucking race or gender topic is in the news that day. And you literally sit here every day obsessing on what is the latest topic that we can turn into some kind of race or gender war. It's insane. It's delusional.
Just bend the knee before it's too late.
Yeah, Jarl, do your thing, dude. Bend it.
It's always about race in here, you know?
Like I said,
There are people that are
we just,
race.
like I said, we just got to reopen insane asylums and throw all the crazy people and their supporters in there and get them help in this shit, period.
What's that, Black? Your name is Black Girl. And then you brought race.
Yeah, my name is Black. I'm a proud Black woman. It's the people.
That's that people's identity, bro. You know? I should just allow myself white. What's up, guys?
You were brought up in a huge argument earlier. I just happened to stumble into a room and they were bitching about you let Mountain up on your stages, and it's pretty wild. They were going on about you.
What room was that?
Misa.
Misa?
Yeah, they were big. Yeah, they were mad because she lets you up on her stages.
Who gives a fuck?
You're causing division with your hate.
Oh, well, good. I don't hate anybody, dude. I'm just talking the truth. You know what I'm saying?
To the timeline, this meeting is in response to the comments of a right-winger. Or I shouldn't say that, sorry, that was wrong. Of a woman who is not in support of this. That was very not well worded. And then that became a controversy, with a lot of people supporting her, it seems like. And then they had to have a meeting to define it. So again, you see what I mean? Right, or I should say, people who disagree with the topic bringing it up. It's right-wingers, just whatever the fuck you want.
Still don't get it. You still don't get it. This is a political gift that your Looney Tunes gave the right. It's an 80-20 issue. If that, it's probably 90-10. And your side is so afraid to just come to, just to admit the truth that it's political points for the other side. That's such a fucking stupid.
What side? I need you.
You're just throwing it away. You just say, well, who cares about this? Who cares if they want to play sports? Like, you won't come out and condemn it, which is really the issue. It's not the actual issue. It's not anymore that
Leah Thomas was swimming with women. It's the fact that you guys are so fucking crazy and backwards that you won't actually speak reality. You won't even like just you won't acknowledge it.
You want to know what the real answer is? Leave it to the WNBA. Whatever the fuck they decide, I don't care. Leave it to they'll decide. They can make a rule. Whatever the rule is tomorrow, good for them. I'm happy for them.
See, you're doing it right now.
Go ahead with them. They can fucking care less if they ban transgender people like women's soccer in the U.S.
Hold on. Pause. Look, Charles not an American, but he represents what the modern day left is all about. I was on this stage 2 weeks ago talking about how the DSA was going to take over the Democrat Party. And Democrat after Democrat came up on stage, Florida man being one of them, and argued and shouted me down. There's not that many DSA. This is not a big deal. We shouldn't have to worry about it. It's just a right-wing conspiracy. And the mainstream media literally is running with El Said's election as if this is the turning point of will the extreme left wing, the socialists, the DSA candidates, will they have enough influence to take over the Democrat Party? So this is what the modern day left is. They're low IQ. They don't know what's actually going on in the world around us. We bring up these topics and they're like, well, this is all, only y'all care about this. Jarl doesn't actually read the news. He doesn't really know what the debate is going on right now. This was the first time Jarl has even heard that the WNBA was commencing a high-end meeting of the commissioner. This is the first time you've ever heard. But this is the first time you've ever heard of this story because you don't actually pay attention. That's ultimately what this comes down to, Joe. You're a low IQ observer of Clubhouse. You don't really follow politics. I'm just going to call it what it is.
Well, let me
It's
just say,
fucking basketball isn't politics. It's just not. It's like politics for children. It's for people who want to cosplay like they talk about politics.
Yeah, well, you know, Jarl, you could be right. I might be spending too much time discussing the trans issue and trans women in basketball. So since you made that statement, I assume you've been keeping a log of when I'm on Clubhouse, when I'm not, what topics I'm talking about, when I'm not. If you could submit that to the room and give the evidence that that's all I'm talking about and that I'm here all day long, you know, I'm really concerned about it. You brought up a good point. So please submit your evidence that I am in fact obsessed with this and talking, because I really feel like it's an opportunity for me to grow emotionally and spiritually with this. So we'll wait for that report from you in the chat. Otherwise, it's just you trying to gaslight people and you're full of crap. That's
Don't take it personally if it doesn't apply to you, Alan. That's all.
What? What doesn't apply?
The fact that you took it personally says everything.
You used my name directly and said I was on Clubhouse all the time. I think that's called a personal attack. Now you're going to try and squirm out of that? Come on, Charles. You can do better than that.
I don't think anyone cares. Nobody cares.
Well, again, we're going to need the evidence
women's basketball
to show about that. Or we can just go to Google.
Charles, what do you don't want to talk about, Charles?
Hello, Joe.
What's up, man? It's Edward.
Wait, 1 second. Jarl, just, you obviously said I don't care, it's a stupid question. Would you think that transgender women should be able to play in competitive sports?
Probably not. Depends on how long they transition, but I would leave it up to whatever sport league. Like, it depends on the sport, depends on the league, but probably not in many
It
cases.
depends on how long they transitioned. Why would that be like a fact?
Because if the sick parents started giving their child hormone treatments at the age of 5 to a boy, then the argument is that that boy never had the testosterone entered into his system developmentally, so he never would have developed the advantages that boys naturally have over girls as they develop. That's why they bring up that argument.
So they do acknowledge that men have advantages over women and won't allow the women to be in their own sport without someone ever being considered a man. Like, the logic would be that if you have a natural fucking benefit over the other group, you shouldn't be in that other group, right? Like, again, adults have natural advantages over children. We don't mix them with children. Men have natural advantages over women. We don't mix them. And so, in certain sports, weight classes matter because the bigger people are generally have a bigger advantage than smaller people, such as combat sports. Like, this has been established and understood for a while. But we're changing the whole realm of science and just reality for a niche group of people who cannot substantiate their own fucking position in reality. Like look how far we're going, y'all, to do this stupid shit.
Yeah.
Just because of an opinion.
And to keep
an opinion, not something that's substantiated in fact, an opinion.
And the differences between men and women, I've seen 2 videos. It's a high school boys basketball team, and they beat the professional women's basketball team. And then the women play against a middle school team, and they just barely, it was like there were a bunch of different tests, and the boys won all the other tests. But then in the final game, the boys lost like 18 to 21. It was a game of 21. But they just barely made it. And those are middle school kids. I mean, that's how quickly the boys advance physically over girls. And yet we're supposed to ignore that. And, oh, well, if we give you know, a 5-year-old boy the same drug they gave Alan Turing in order to make him sterile, then, oh, okay, then yeah, it's actually a girl. No, he was born a boy, he will always be a boy, and if you start cutting off body parts, he will still be a boy.
Well, at least Charles said
Any parent that gives their 5-year-old hormones, you know, because of, you know, trying to change who they are, that's child abuse, and that child should be removed from their care. That's horrific. This idea like that at 5 years old they can make a choice as to, you know, how they want to live their life as an adult. It's just like, you know, it's just wild that someone would come off their mic and say, well, it depends on how long they've been transitioning. That shit makes absolutely no sense. Like, it makes none whatsoever. They said it with a straight face.
And Anthony, if you guys can
Wait, when you denied them
this, all the adults advocate for this, you say, would you let a child get a tattoo? And every fucking adult's like, well, they're a little too young to make a decision about a tattoo that's going to be a permanent change. Every single one of them, no, I wouldn't let them get a tattoo. It's like, well, why the fuck would you let them do some permanent shit to their bodies? Idiots. They don't even think when they say shit.
Yeah, well, they're full of shit because they don't mean what they say. A lot of this stuff is just them going against the status quo. That's all it is. It's just like adverse culture, like contrarian bullshit. You think that the normal standard or tradition is a problem, so you just have to do it. So any new thing, think about it, any new thing that's came up like in the last decade, or like just a decade prior, it was against like open borders. Of course, that's fucking insane. Abortions in the 3rd trimester, unfucking heard of. Who would consider that? Children being transgenderism in general, let alone children doing that. Fuck no. Like never. Who would do such a thing? But when you have these woke people teaching this stuff in college and being pushed through celebrity and popular culture, now people are like, you know what? Maybe we was thinking wrong. Maybe we should just start changing. And then you change any fucking thing. It's never a thought to say, hey, maybe I'm open to trying to reason this out. So let me kind of just walk into it slowly. It's like, no, fuck it. Like, oh yeah, full throttle. Right into it. Hey, we would never take a vaccine from our government. We would never have them force that shit on us. So Biden got in office. Well, of course you have to. You must take the vaccine. I mean, the shit is night and day for these people, and it's unreal to me because it seems like a fucking. It really feels like a assimilation that is not real. The same people who are against one thing one day is for the next day, and they don't see it. But we're the cults. We're the cultures that say, hey, we're pumping the brakes on all this shit because we're hesitant to change because we can kind of see it from a distance. We can kind of see that some things may not be right, but we could be wrong. Let's just walk into this. Same thing with the topic of the Norwell situation. All of us are open to the idea that it could be racist, it could be murder, it could be malice, it could be a lot of things. We don't know. So we're waiting for more information. The other people's like, no, we know what it is. It's definitely racism. That side gets it wrong all the time, and you guys don't give a fuck about getting it right because you only need to get it right once. You need to get it right once to say, hey, my belief system is substantiated. No matter how wrong I am, it's that one time that matters to you guys, and that's what you rely on. So every time you get it wrong, you just move on to the next fucking thing. So this transgenderism shit is stupid as fuck. But you don't care about that. You just care about getting your fucking way. That's all you guys care about. That's why we have this discussion, Joel.
You're free. I couldn't agree with you more. But here's the thing, right? And this is the part that just like gets glazed over. Let's say this particular group of young men, for the shits and giggles, let's go with the worst case scenario. They were rabid racists and they killed Nolan Wells because he was black. What the fuck does that have to do with society in general? Like, are black people like less safe, more safe around white people? It has nothing to do with nothing. It's like they have absolutely no point. They got Nolan Wells' mother standing on the podium now talking about, oh, you know, you have to, as a black parent, talk to your children. Like, this shit is so fucking racist and evil. It's evil.
Bro, that part's the worst. Listen, they live in a predominantly white city, go to a predominantly white school, has a predominantly white church. But you're telling the world that you have to question the people around, but you chose that environment. This shit is stranger than fiction. Why would you choose that environment?
So many black people run to these environments when they get, you know, a bit of money. Why? It's so bad. It doesn't make sense.
I saw that. The bar and the coach. The bar
down here. He's like, fuck you guys.
The coach too. The coach did the same thing. Yeah. Yes, the coach, the boys, all the black people there said it was common sense. Because you had a mixed crowd there in the first place. So why the fuck they sent out this one black guy, Nolan Wells, to kill him, and then the other black people around didn't notice this shit? Like, nobody around noticed that, hey, this black guy was being mistreated. And then why him out of all the other black people? I'm telling you, these people do not give a fuck about any facts. They don't care. No logic will defeat them. Okay? They're logically impaired. They don't want to think about none of this shit. Somehow this boy just...
They're allergic to logic, bro. They're just allergic to logic.
That's allergic to impaired.
Was the worst. The barber was like, bro, there's no fucking racism down here. Everyone gets along. He's like, y'all need to chill with that shit. And Don Lemon, his fucking response to the guy was like, look, I'm not saying that nobody drinks it or whatever, but it should be talked about. What the fuck are you talking about? Should be talked about?
It should be talked about if it's happening. That's a problem. They need to and want to talk about it. So here's this. Racism for people like with that mentality is dogmatic. It's a religion. It really is. I'm not saying this to be hyperbolic. I mean it's literally. It is a religion.
No, it is a religion. You are so right. It's a religion.
Yeah, it's a faith system. Yes, you have to believe it. So whenever you tell people it might not be religious, it's like saying God might not exist to these people. Like, no, there's definitely some type of racism there. No, it's like, no, well, maybe, but I don't see any indication. Why do you think it's racism? Well, I mean, you got to understand the history of Mississippi. It's like, no, I get it, yeah, but by that logic, the history of America has been racist. So every mysterious death is racism? Is that what you're saying? You can't be that fucking dumb, right? So clearly, right, which is insane. So, because again, they're not thinking. So it's like, hey, listen, just reason this out. Okay, that's a different era with different people in a different environment. These people today, Kamala Harris, they got black, city council and all, and sheriffs and shit like that. So it's a different world, different environment, different generation. Okay, I'm saying history is what it is, but you have to take in consideration the current pieces in play is going to give you a different result. If the people involved are not saying it, it's probably best for you to not say it. So when there is no racism to be examined, it's probably not racism. But they won't give you that. It has to be you're the coon or the sellout or the racist or you sleep and all this other bullshit because you are depriving them of the matrix they created for themselves. You cannot deny that typically you become the enemy. And just like the movie Matrix, every time you try to break them out of it, they become a new agent. Everyone transformed and they start attacking you literally because you have to die, you have to be hurt, you have to be counseled or doctor, some type of shit. Because like that's what they're doing on the table right now, Brandon Taylor. You have to be destroyed because no way you're gonna shake them from their belief system, their religion. You have to, this shit is sick. It really is, man. And as you guys know, once it's boiled over, it's gonna move to the next story. This will probably be over. I give it 1 more month, and we'll probably have a new story. Like the girl who just got hung in Mississippi.
They're not talking about it anymore, brother, because when the family has information, and that's why it's died down so dramatically. They understand what that if all the information comes to the light, I believe there's some kind of smoking gun in that toxicology report. That's my take on it. So they can't run, they can't hide. That they're terrified.
Water in his lungs. It's really funny you guys believe in this bullshit.
If there's water in his lungs, he clearly drowned.
Shit is some
There's
fake
no water
ass
in his lungs.
stories.
He was killed.
You guys just playing on this racist bullshit of whether the motherfucker got killed because of racism or not killed, but shit is fake as fuck. You don't see this shit.
The Luciferian incident.
You kill me, man. What are you saying is fake? Y'all know one is not dead. Which one is fake?
Sacrifice.
You wasn't here. How the fuck would you know?
The Luciferian psyop sacrifice numerology.
No, I just said it was fake. It's some bullshit. That's all I said.
Like he didn't really die.
No, it's some bullshit.
Did he ever exist? Is he a real person?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, you laughing. I mean, they make up stories all the time.
I think it was a series of unfortunate events. I think these guys got them, wussing around. They were already drunk. Don't know if quote unquote illegal substances were used. They were on Grandpa's boat. They panicked. They called Grandpa. No one hit his head because it was as simple as he drowned. They would have been said that. They would have been said, it was in his lungs. They would have said a lot of things. So it's just, we just sit back and watch. I just think horseplay. And a couple.
Yeah, no, the show.
Just really, really quick, y'all. I'm just trying to understand this line of logic where it's some horseplay and he drowned accidentally. I don't understand that because number one, how are you gonna have 7, 8 people on the boat and keep a secret? It's not going to happen. It's not gonna happen. There's no scenario where everybody's going to hold the line for some accidental death chick. Somebody's gonna say, well, here, this is really what happened. It would never. They could not consistently keep the same story.
Well,
that's number one.
Right, that's exactly. I say the story is different so much.
I don't know. I'm not a.
But that's one of the key things of
Yeah, you guys just call me that.
Ms. Fifi, I understand what you're saying, but since you floated the theory and you chose the option and accidental death. No, I said because of the option you chose and the theory that you stated, I'm just trying to get with the logic of the theory. That's all. I'm not trying to criticize you personally.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Man, I'm trying to come up with everything. I don't want to see them. If they left them, that they're friend,
Okay, he's a grown, he's 18 years old. They tried to get him to come. The boat was taking on water. This is extenuating circumstances.
And trying to get him to come or not, Anthony. You weren't there?
So here's what's up, right? I I'm going according to what was testified, well, not what was stated in the interview. And what I'm saying is, does this story have the ring of truth to me? Is it logical? Does it make conceptual sense to me? Smell bullshit. I'm going to tell you the only problem I had with the Brandon Tatum interview, and you guys can say that I'm just being, it bothered me a little bit that his friend, forgot the young man's name, after he called, she hadn't, he immediately Coast Guard. I was sleeping it off. More so, it's 11 o'clock at night. I would have more so thought that he was sleeping it off than calling the Coast Guard. That would have been a call for his mother to make. About that suspicious. It could be a reasonable thing for someone to do. They got up the next morning, they went very first thing. All of that's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I get that. I understand that. But,
See,
beyond
that's
that,
what you would do. You're good too. We don't know what the young man did because we don't know them people. We just know it was something.
But Miss Beefy, I want you to imagine this, right? I want you to imagine if those young men were your sons, and they would. I have a 20-year-old son, right? Imagine if people were trying to say that your son killed one of his closest friends. Imagine
it was like they were strangers, like they were best friends.
Yeah, I want you to imagine how you would feel about that. Yeah, those kids, let's just say for the sake of this discussion, it's not true. They had nothing to do. They're getting death threats, and they have nothing to do with it. With their best friend dying. Could you imagine how bad that would be? How you would feel? I would be worried about my kids' mental health.
Anthony, let me ask you, how would she feel if it was a bunch of black kids and the white kid died, and a bunch of white people were saying that the black kids killed? Oh man, would you feel this? If it was a boat full of black kids and one white friend drowned, you would be screaming that it's racist. How dare you? How dare these black strong men, the fucking people
What the fuck are you? What kind of stupid ass question? You don't answer a fool according to his folly. Rich is a remedial